It was the January 2026 version of the Van Alstyne Chamber of Commerce breakfast. There was breakfast, of course, and it was a crowded room at Grayson College's South Campus for their special guest, State Representative Shelley Luther. She was kind enough to let me mic her up, so the rest of this video is her remarks, followed by questions and answers.
I appreciate it. Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Thanks for having me.
It's our pleasure.
Can I do this? So, hi everybody. Thank you so much for having me here. This reminds me of when I was a teacher. For 13 years, I was a teacher. A lot of people don't know that. I taught Spanish. ¿Hablo español? Oh, muy bien. And I also, I went to UTA a really long time ago on a softball scholarship. So I was also a softball and volleyball coach along with teaching Spanish. So I'm like the dream for superintendents because I teach a foreign language and I coach girls sports. So, especially in the small areas. But I just wanted to tell you a little bit about me because a lot of people have heard stuff about me or you've seen something on TV and you're thinking something about me, and I'm way crazier than that. No, I'm just kidding.
I love that.
Just to start off, I know most of you probably saw me arguing with Governor Abbott in 2020 about the COVID mandates. About whether or not my salon should shut down or not. And now, okay, here we go. So, so I did teach for 13 years. I got out of teaching. I just felt like I was supposed to do something else and be my own boss. So my husband and I are both musicians. My husband has a doctorate from NYU in classical piano. That's his full-time job. So he's like the real deal. And he does play in Van Alstyne at, there you go. The mayor doesn't like it when those shows happen. No, just kidding. He says the mayor is the most fun there.
After 10 p.m.
After 10 p.m. I guess that's the rules. No, I'm just kidding. But I'm not kidding. But anyway, we're both musicians, and I also was very interested in doing makeup and stuff like that. So I was looking for a salon suite when I got out of teaching. And I found a salon suite, but then someone said, hey, do you want to buy this salon? And it was for sale for like $25,000, and it's almost 4,000 square feet. Wow. And I was like, okay, it's ugly in here, but I think this would be cool. This is something, and I like a big challenge. And so I bought the salon and I renovated the entire thing myself except for tiling the floors. I didn't know how to do that. But everything else I was able to renovate it all myself. And so I have this little salon that I bought in 2017 and then 2020. So we shut down like everybody else because we don't know like what's going on. And we've been shut down for like a month. After a month, one of my stylists, and they weren't my employees. I rented them space, and they rent the space to run their own business. And we had nails and hair, all kinds of stuff in there. And she called me up, and we'd already been closed a month, and she's like, okay, I'm not trying to scare you, but I have not eaten in a couple of days because I'm just trying to like figure out how to feed my kids. And I'm like, let me also tell you that most of the people that were working in my salon, there were 18 of them at the time, a lot of them were immigrants from other countries, legal immigrants, but they just go, they do their job, they don't bother anybody, they pay their bills, they take care of their families, and they go home. And they were afraid. They didn't know how to go to a food pantry. They don't, because they always just took care of themselves. So I went home and I talked to my husband and I'm like, I think we're supposed to open the salon. And he's like, okay. I'm like, oh, we had no idea what that meant. We had no idea. So long story short, we end up opening the salon against the COVID shutdown. And I end up in a courtroom a week later, and a judge tells me that I could go to jail for 6 months for disobeying. And of course, my salon's in Dallas, so there you go. And so I said, I can't back down now. And let me just tell you too, my dad's a 26-year Marine veteran, a Vietnam veteran, a lifer in the Marines. He's still alive today. Ornery as all get out, but he's alive. But I will tell you, I got a little sass from that. So I wasn't sassy to the judge, but I was like, sir, I'm not going to close down. I just can't, that's just not right. And you're not helping my stylist, and I'm not going to be the one that keeps them from being able to feed their kids. And so I said, I'm not going to shut the salon. And his eyes almost popped out of his head. It's online. You could actually see it, where his eyes almost pop out of his head. And then he almost called me the B word on video. And then I got thrown in jail for 7 days. 7 days in Dallas Luceret. So I'm like, oh, okay, wow. Never been in a jail before. And so, and it's funny because when I called my dad the next day and I'm like, hey, remember that joke we used to have? Like, at least I've never been to jail. I'm like, I'm calling you from jail. So that was a thing. I only stayed in jail for 3 days. I say only, it was 3 days. And then the Texas Supreme Court actually ruled to have me out of the jail. And then all of a sudden, and I was not political at all, did not care about politics at all. It's a little embarrassing how little I knew about politics. And people are like, you should run for this Senate spot. And I'm like, well, what does that guy do? And so I started learning like a Republican platform and started, looking into politics. And I'm like, I agree with all this. This all makes sense. My parents were born and raised in Texas. Even though he's a Marine and we lived everywhere, my parents are like multiple generation Texans. And so I'm like, yep, let's try this. So I ran for state Senate. I eventually lost that race. It was a what do you call it? It was like a runoff, but it was like an early election a special election. And then I decided to run for the House seat. And man, did I get creamed in that, really bad. That was a couple of years ago. I mean, bad. And then in April of 2023, my husband and I were at a gig. We were playing. He was playing, and I was singing. We were both singing at this place, at a restaurant, Chamberlain's, as a matter of fact, in Addison. And we came home, and it was really stormy that night. And we get home, and we're laughing, we're cutting up. We were singing on the way home and just having a good time. And we get home, and he goes to check the animals because we have kangaroos and goats, like we have all kinds of animals. So he goes to make sure all the fences are up. And I'm inside, and I go inside, and I go next to the bed, and I go to take my earring off to set it down. And then all of a sudden, my head feels like it's going to absolutely explode. And I have not been able to talk to somebody in person that had this happen. So I can't look at you and be like, hey, yeah, did you feel that? Like, I don't know anyone that had their carotid artery in their head explode, but I did. And so I called my husband, which most people just die right there when that happens, honestly. I called my husband and I'm like, hey, come inside. And I'm like, I'm about to die. I will tell you, you're not going to be like, I wonder. No, you know that your life's in danger when this happens. And so I called him in. We finally get to TMC, and they're like, we can't save her. And then they put me in a helicopter. They wanted to take me to Dallas, but the weather was so bad that I sat there for 45 minutes on the tarmac. And then they finally put me in an ambulance, and then I got to Medical City in Plano, where they also told my husband she's not going to make it through the night. I remember getting in the ambulance, and then I have like a 2-month memory loss, which is good. Thank you for that. So I was in a coma for, I think, 8 days. I had 8 strokes in 7 days because of all the blood in my head. And I was in the hospital 26 days. And so man, you appreciate life after that happens to you. You thought you did before, but man, life's different after that. Please live your life like it's your last day, because you don't want this experience to have to show you what it could possibly be like, honestly. So because of all the strokes that I had, they said I wouldn't walk, I wouldn't talk, all of those things. And then here I am, crazy, getting up, walking around in the hospital and all of the things. I had to go to speech and physical therapy for months just to get my strength back. They were showing me pictures of animals like dog, cat, giraffe, blah, blah. I couldn't remember what they were. Like, it was bad. And then after that, and you can see when I, like just talking, I couldn't get full sentences out. It was just really, really hard. That was in April. God told me in November, you're gonna run one more time. I'm like, I can't even talk, dude. I call up my husband, and I'm like, I'm supposed to run. He goes, you're not running anywhere. He thought I meant like running. And I'm like, nope. And he goes, no, you're not. And he hung up on me. He's never hung up on me before, but he did that day. Imagine all of the campaigns and all of the stuff that we've been through, jail, like all of the stuff. And then I tell him I'm going to run for a third time after almost dying. Yeah, I have a great husband, by the way. So we did. We put my name in. We drove to Austin. We didn't tell anybody. We drove to Austin, filed my name to run for the House seat the day before the deadline. That was in second week of December. And then I won the primary in March. And then I won in November. And then this last year, I just served my first term in the Texas House. So. What's that?
We're glad you ran again.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Not everybody is, but I'm okay with that. I will tell you, though, the lesson that I learned from that. I was so mad at God when I kept losing, because I'm one of those people that if I want to do something, I go out and I give 100% and I do it. I'm one of those, I am relentless. I never give up. And so if I want to do something, especially if someone says, oh, you can't do that, I'm like, oh, wait. You know what I mean? Like, I'm one of those, like, get out of the way. Like, I'm doing that. And I did that for like 5 years. And I kept losing. But I'm telling you, I was not ready to win because God didn't show me who I answer to yet. Like, I mean, completely answer to. I thought I did. But now every decision that I make when times are hard, instead of worrying, I am completely able to pray, go to God, and leave it alone. And it looks like I don't care. But it's not that I don't care, it's that I've already given it to God. So that's the difference from Shelley Luther now compared to Shelley Luther before the brain aneurysm. So I want you to know, yes, I represent you, but I answer to one. I answer to one. Please don't let what happened to me happen to you before you decide to do that. That was a lot, huh?
No, that was
Okay.
great.
So I do want to tell you that some of this stuff, we did help small businesses in the legislature, and this is stuff that we can put up. I'll put this up on my social media. But one of the biggest things that we did for small businesses, it used to be your small business personal property tax exemption. It used to only be $2,500, and you know what that personal property tax is. Like if you have a small business and you have to keep paying taxes every year on the same stuff that you owned the year before. It went from $2,500. It is now $125,000 exemption off your business. That's the biggest thing that we did for businesses. Yes, yes. So for any of my small business owners, that's huge for you. I will tell you with Governor Abbott, his main thing is grow businesses, growth, business. So That was a huge deal. We did make it to where, which it's not the answer, but it's a little bit of some help with the homestead exemptions went from 100,000 to 140. You voted on that because that's a constitutional amendment. Whenever we have to amend the Constitution, you have to vote on that. That's why you see those. If you didn't know on those amendments and you're like, these are hard to understand because like attorneys write them, and sometimes it's just hard. On my social media, I will always break them down for you. If there's people that don't want to vote because they're afraid they might not understand, send them there and say, oh, she has it, or print it out and you can give them out to people to say, here's what they actually mean for you and whatever else. I have a lot of stuff written here that we talked about, small businesses and stuff. We did widen the, for permits for mobile food trucks. It used to be like if you were in one city and then you had to go to another city, like your permit didn't work in the general area there, and we made consistency with that. If you have a food truck, call Diana. She can go through that bill with you. This is Diana. This is my district director. If you call the Sherman office, this sweet lady has way more patience than me. She's awesome, but use our office. There's not enough, I'm sorry, Diana, but there's not enough people. There's not enough people that call our office. And there's some stuff that we can do. People call it, but they don't know that what we can do for you. She could talk about small businesses and she can go through all of this. She's really good at reading bills and what they exactly need. And if there's anything that you need in legislation, or you're like, we should do this, or this would be really helpful for the chamber or whatever, call Diana. She has cards here. So don't leave here without our office number. But I want to tell you something, that a tiny story, and then I'll open it up for questions if that's okay.
That's fine.
Okay. One of the things that made me really happy and really mad at the same time before I was even elected. It was right after I won the primary in March, and it was before the general election in November. And we had one of my constituents unfortunately pass away in Bells, Texas, on the highway there. I talked to the mayor about it, and everybody's calling us. They're like, help us, because it's just, people are driving too quickly on that road. And so I'm like, well, I'm like nobody, like I'm not elected, but let me just see what happens. And so I have my team look up, I'm like, who's in charge of like TxDOT around here? And they gave me the number, his cell phone, and I'm like, so I call him up and I'm like, Noel, who's awesome, by the way. And I'm like, hey, I need to talk to you about some stuff. He's like, okay, come on in. And I'm like, okay. So I come in as no one. And I'm like, hey, we need to lower the speed limit right here because it's dangerous. Somebody just passed through. He goes, okay. And then I'm like, okay, I also want to put a memorial on the highway after the lady that just passed away. He goes, great.
Wow.
People have been fighting for years. And only because I control the money, or have some little bit of control of the money, where they like, yeah, whatever you need. So that's good and bad. I went home to my husband and I'm like, I am so mad. And he's like, what? And I'm like, they said they're gonna lower the speed limit and we're gonna get the high. He goes, isn't that what you wanted? I'm like, yeah, but it was too easy. Because I almost have that title. But what I'm telling you, and why I tell you that, let us use it for you. So, I mean, there was a hospital, not in this area, that basically was kidnapping someone's baby because they weren't doing the treatment the hospital wanted. We handled that. There's anything federal, we can get you in touch with Pat Fallon's office and get you handled. Social Security, Veterans Affairs, your driver's license. I mean, just don't be frustrated with things. Just call our office and say, can you help me? We might say no, but we're gonna try really hard. So that's all that I have to tell you. And I would love to answer any questions that you guys have.
Okay, on the business property tax, when does that go into play?
That is immediately coming up on this new tax section, I think, yes. Yes. Diana can get you the bill number and the actual bill. Yes, there's the card.
Didn't they extend the small business owner tax credit as well? Or I heard somewhere that they raised the small business owner tax credit that you get on your personal taxes.
On your personal taxes, I'm not sure about that, but I don't know, unless you have a specific.
That's federal, isn't it? That'll be on your federal tax.
Yeah, this is not state.
Gotcha, okay, so those don't.
But yes, well, President Trump and Congress, they passed no tax on tips, I think. That was in that big, beautiful bill. They also did no tax on Social Security, which why would that be taxed anyway, but okay. Yes, overtime too. So there's a lot of federal tax stuff that went through, which I'm not as well versed in that. Sorry, I can barely hang on to this. It's a lot. Let me tell you guys, there were 10,000 bills filed this last session. 10,000. And any bill that was going to the floor for debate, my team read it. Some of them are 100 pages. We took over 4,000 votes. So if someone's like, I'm so mad at you for that one you took, I'm like, one? Great. Because we took 4,000 votes. But yeah, some people hold on to one specific thing and it makes them upset. But I'll tell you, if we could do 3,999 others that were pretty dang good, I'm okay. I'm sorry. Yeah, it's a lot. But I want to tell you, before I take my votes, I pray about them and make sure that I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. So in my mind, I want it to be the right thing. It may not be to you, but I want it to be. Yes?
I just want to make a comment.
Uh-oh. And everybody know Bruce Dossie?
Her persona that she's standing up here showing you is not an act. I spent a lot of time in Austin this last session with the cement kiln. When it went to the vote, it was 10 o'clock at night, 11 o'clock at night.
There was only about 3 minutes left to be able to pass it.
And I'm sitting there watching the live broadcast of the vote happening. And she is literally going around that room rallying votes for our county. So she is the real deal.
I appreciate it.
Great.
Thank you.
That because I know you from personal stuff, but I called you on a problem that I had on one of my listings.
I remember that.
And you're like, I don't have the answer, but you called this person and this person, and you tell them that I said, I gave you their phone number. And it got me exactly where I needed to be. So even if she didn't have the answer, she was able to get me the answer and just was so just understanding and listening. And I'm sure she was so busy during that time.
Doesn't matter.
So it's appreciated, and I second that you are.
I appreciate you guys are so. I didn't know it was going to be so nice. No, thank you so much. I am learning every day, and I won't ever stop learning. It's impossible to know. Like seriously, some of the stuff that comes up on the floor, I'm like, I didn't even know what that was. Like I had to look it up. And I mean, I have a college education. That doesn't. You're not prepared. No one is. The attorneys that go in there, not prepared. We have a neurosurgeon that's a House member, not prepared. Because what does he know about my salon? Or when we, fought against puppy mills or I know a lot about that because we have animals and that's my heart. I know a lot about education. I was a department head. And I speak Spanish and a lot of people didn't know that and that was very helpful. Anything else?
Can you talk to us about property taxes and Governor Abbott, where he stands on that?
Sure. Let's see. So it's campaign season, and so that's the reality of it. So I love Governor Abbott's new property tax plan. If we can get that passed, that will be huge, which just means that we're not paying, you as a homeowner are not paying the school portion of the property taxes. The state that has the money will eventually be paying that portion. So your property taxes will go down a lot. You'll still pay your city, your county, and all of those things, which I have no problem with that. I have no problem with that. But the school portion has gotten pretty high where you don't own your house. You do not own your house, even if it's paid off. Because don't pay your property taxes after it's paid off and see what happens. You don't own it. So especially our veterans, especially disabled veterans. Speaking of the homestead exemption, for anyone that's a senior or disabled, it's $200, not $140. You voted on that too. The exemption's $200.
Where would that money come from in the state to offset that?
Our surplus is huge. And let me tell you something though, it's not that easy because our spending is way out of control. So this is several levers that have to work collectively in order to make that happen, which means stop spending on this money on stuff that's not the role of government. Like some of those constitutional amendments that you guys voted on. And let me put you in my shoes. I'm making this up, but a bill could be like, we're gonna kill these puppies or you give us a grant for $1 million. Well, I don't want the puppy. Okay, you can have $1 million. But there were times where I'm like, oh gosh, kill the puppies. Not that I would be, but it's very exaggerated. But what I'm telling you is not everything's cut and dry. And it pulls on your heartstrings a little bit. But when I go in as a conservative, I treat it like it's your money. I'm not going to spend your money on anything. That's not the role of government. And so if people are like, man, you're horrible. And it's like, yeah, sometimes I have to be sorry. I don't know if I answered your question. If his plan comes to fruition, it's amazing and it would be great. And we have the money. But it's got to start with not spending money on stuff that is not the role of the government.
So if they were to do that, the state could pay for schools forever.
So what are some of the big areas that you would consider poor, that they're really going after to stop the spending or limit it?
So just to give you an example, on one of the constitutional amendments, all of us hate dementia, or what was that? Alzheimer's and dementia. Of course, right? We don't want that. We think all this research, that's not the role of government. And it went through, and we're going to spend billions of dollars on that treatment. It's not the role of government. So that it put you in my shoes for a little bit. I have to say, it's not like I don't care about that, but there's other sources for that are way better. Don't let the government do much. Sorry, government people in here, but I'm part of that problem too. But it's private entities, it's better. I just always tell the truth. I'm so sorry. Yes?
I could be wrong on this, but I remember years ago when the vote was up to implement the Texas lottery, that one of the selling points was we can put all this money back into our education. Where is this money going? Because I see teachers still have to buy supplies for their classroom.
It's ridiculous.
What happened with this?
It's the same thing that happens with every large government entity. They say it's going to do this to get the vote and to get it here. That will happen with casinos if we let them here. Which, y'all, if you can't drive 30 minutes if you need to go to a casino, do that. Because all of the sex trafficking and all of the other stuff that comes with casinos will be in Texas. And they're going to say, we'll use all that money. No, they won't. Just like the lottery. And I'll tell you, and a lot of people don't know this, last session, we caught the lotto cheating. Cheating. To where someone got together from another country, a foreign country, an adversary of ours, bought all the tickets possible to win our lotto. They bought every number, but the lotto was so high they made a ton of money. Sorry.
You can
Yeah.
buy lottery tickets online? No, they used
No.
to a courier service.
They did, yeah. It was some sort of, it was a mess. It was a mess. Anything joyful? Yes.
I just want to know from your perspective, coming from a small business owner, what recommendation or, my answer is always, because Texas. What brings people to Texas that you want them to start a small business? What would your advice?
Well, the biggest thing that Texas doesn't have is an income tax. And that's what especially drives like professional athletes to come here, because they lose so much money in that income tax. But the best thing about Texas is the worst thing about Texas. And I'll tell you why. Come to Texas because you can do what you want. Come to Texas, do whatever you want. And we don't want that. We want freedom. Yeah, but we don't want that. So I run for office because I want freedom and no laws, and I'm an adult, don't tell me what to do. And the first thing I file is stop that cement kiln. So the best thing about Texas could also be the worst if you live especially in these rural areas where you don't want the windmills, you don't want the battery plants, you don't want the data centers. Well, we don't have any laws protecting you from that right now, and they're getting subsidies from the federal government to put them here. And because we only meet every 2 years, we're behind when it comes to trying to stop it. So the cities come to us and we're like, help us. And I'm like, there's no law to help you. And I can't file anything because we don't meet this entire year.
Have you taken any stance on MUDs?
I am not a fan of MUDs. Sorry if you are.
Say to what a MUD is when a developer wants to come in outside of a city limit and plop down
A community.
wide lots and put up junk. They can create their own taxing entity and put it in, and there's not a dadgum thing that cities could do about it. Because the city of Van Alstyne has been fighting a 1,000-acre MUD for many years now and spending your tax dollars to keep it away. But it's controlled by the TCEQ. Yeah.
TCEQ. Yeah, have a brain aneurysm and try to say that. TCEQ.
Texas Commission on Environmental Quality.
Yeah, all they look at is, are you gonna kill any extinct animals or something like that? And so, once that MUD comes, they're gonna be using all these city services like our parks and
EMT and
they want to use our fire department and our police, but they don't pay taxes in. And so
I will tell you, and we've spoken to the mayor and the judge, when we get a notice when we're in session that says someone's proposing to do this in this area, and we usually call them up and we're like, do you want this or not? Because we can put, when we're in session, we can put the X in it, on it, sometimes, not all the time. But we do, I think we called you about some, we're like, do you want this? You're like, nope, and we, no. There was also one where there's one that's still, I think, coming in that they're building, I don't think it's a mosque, but it's like some sort of temple. It's a temple. It's not epic. But it's going to be like Dear Tom Bean, I hear. But it started there, and you guys were able to shoo it away. Now it's going to be by my house.
They were never interested in annexing, but they did want services.
I thought they were in Josephine, Motley and Josephine.
That's a different one.
Oh, this is another one?
It's a different one. It is Hindu, it's not Islam. But I'll tell you, besides property taxes, the number one problem that we have in Texas is the Islamization of Texas. That's our biggest problem. I'm telling you right now. It's quiet right now, but it's a problem.
What is being done? I mean, I know there's rumblings around Josephine that have it stopped.
Yeah, they do what these guys have been really good at doing is catching technicalities to not approve their permits to do stuff and catching them that way. The problem is they're saying that freedom of religion, but when Sharia law is not religion, they want to kill us.
Yeah. So closing loopholes, basically.
That's the start, but we would have to amend our Constitution in order to keep them out of Texas. And whenever you do that, it always gets crazy. And if you watch the House, you can watch the House floor if you have no life. And you want to, but sometimes it's fun. Sometimes it's interesting, but have a game and count how many times I get called racist when we have to do, a drinking game, whatever, bingo card. No, it's just anything that we try to do that is what's best for Texas. It's bad. It's bad, and you have to just sit there and take it for like 14 hours straight sometimes. So.
Local has lost, in the last 10 years, local government has lost a lot of control of itself. And Shelley hasn't been there that whole time to catch the blame for a lot of that, and I don't think she encourages a lot of it, but we have lost control of what comes into our cities, what comes into our counties, and the state has taken that over. While the state's filing lawsuits against the federal government because the federal
It's too
reach into Texas is doing the same thing to cities and counties.
Yes. The best thing about Texas, and it goes back to what you asked, the best thing about Texas is private property rights. The worst thing about Texas, private property rights. So we have drone issues in Fannin, and these aren't little drones. These are huge, 30 feet above your house, and they own the airspace. Drones. We did we passed a bill this session that if you put up windmills, you're responsible for taking them down when you're done and recycling them. Now, are people going to do that? No. Is it going to keep them from wanting to build them? Yes. Because they're responsible for getting rid of all the stuff, when before they just leave them there and kill birds. Anything else? Yes?
Okay, I'm going to backtrack a little bit to what Dustin had said earlier. I think you're talking about SB 541, this personal. SB 541 is like the cottage law that was just ultimately.
Oh, the cottage law? Yes. So that is, yes. So for the expanded the freedom for cottage food businesses, so especially for these, the fairs that are around here, yes. You could do pickled, baked, and raw milk and home kitchen type things you're allowed to sell now, when it wasn't before.
Oh, raw milk was passed?
Yes. I think raw milk is on there now.
It is on there?
I think so, but check with Diana to make sure. She can look right now.
She's on it. Lots of farmers markets.
Okay, yes.
That's a really big thing.
No, that was a huge deal.
But that change, it went from like they were only allowed to do 7 things to now they're only not allowed to do like 7 things.
Yes.
It's a massive change for small businesses.
Make sure you get Diana's card, and she will be your BFF on that. She loves researching too, and like, yeah, she's a total nerd, and I mean that in the nicest way.
If dairy farmers are allowed to sell raw milk at a farmer's market, that is like massive game changer.
Right.
It'll save me gas money too.
Right. Well, because as of right now, I only know you can buy it from the farmer on their land only.
She's checking right now for you.
Very cool.
Anything else? Yes, sir.
How far from a residence can that be?
So there's different things between a cement mixing plant is different than a kiln. There's all different types of permits for those things. So are you talking about a mixer?
I'm not exactly sure. I don't know if you remember us. We fought against the one here in Van Alstyne.
Batch plant.
The batch plant. So we moved here in 2014, and we lived in the middle of nowhere. And one day we woke up and there was a lime mixing plant just overnight, like on our property line. And it, every day's lime just pours onto our property. But then they put in a cement mixing plant on the same piece of land, like behind, kind of tucked away in the woods. And every day when we walk the dog, we watch it grow and grow and grow. And it'd be nice if somebody go take a look and make sure that that's all they're doing, because we're seeing a huge increase in particulate, and it's like 400 feet from our home.
I think 400. They do it by yards usually, but it depends which permit they actually have because it's different for each permit. But let me tell you something big that people don't know. TCEQ operates on public complaints. If you complain or if you think that something is wrong, and what I would do first is get with Diana, figure out what the specifications are on the permit, and go and measure yourself, or you could do it with like an aerial, like Google Maps and stuff. Okay.
When they were applying, we spoke with the judge here at the hearing and showed him it was not within, we use Google Earth, from here to here, and it's not within the measure, but they got the permit anyway.
TCEQ is its own animal. I mean,
we like I said, we bought our house and then we were in the middle of nowhere. We had one person build next to us, and then industry built all around us. We were like landlocked in between two homes around industry. And but we were pre-existing since 1982.
Right. That's where it comes into the best thing about Texas. And that's why they come here, because we don't have the laws to keep them from. Now, we do need the cement. We need it, but we also need them to be good neighbors.
We know, like, if we leave a car outside,
it's
within 4 hours, and then you see the covering of the debris on the car, and you're like, that's what I'm breathing.
Yes.
So it's a concern for us.
So they can definitely, if you are concerned about the air quality and you make a complaint, they have to come out and check it.
Okay.
So I'm telling you, your complaints go a long way. They have to. What I would do is contact Diana, have her pull the permit. She can send you the permit and anything to do with that. Do your research first, and then you see if there's any way that you can call and make it a complaint, and we will follow up and make sure that they go out there, and we'll show you the results.
Thank you.
Our whole neighborhood pitched in to each send things to the...
Keep doing that.
Yeah, and we all got notices that, okay, there's going to be a review. You can come to Alstyne, I think it was, and speak with us, and then right before that would happen, they push it back, and then they push it back. Yeah.
Go this way. Okay. We got a person. We got a person there. He answers my phone on a half a ring. He does. He's great. He's great.
It's been a long-term concern for us.
I'm sorry about that. But let me see if we can help you, because if they are not abiding by their permit, that's a problem. But I'll tell you, TCEQ is not, they don't have any teeth. We were able to get a rock crusher moved to a different area because we caused enough stink, and the neighborhood caused enough stink. So you can do some stuff, but it's pretty tough. Anything else?
What can you say about water law?
Which part about it? That's pretty broad.
There's a lot of buzz going on. Is the state going to change their laws on the right to capture and all that, or where are we at with all that?
I don't think so. There's a lot there. The problem is, especially with some of these muds coming in as well, they could build a well and suck up all the water because they pull it from their property, and so it makes it really tough. I know that we're not in a bind like a lot of the other places in Texas, and they're freaking out that they're going to run out of water soon. I represent Delta, Franklin, Fannin, and Grayson, And in some of those counties to the east, they're trying to take their water and take it to other parts of Texas. So it's a problem. I don't see the law changing right now, but there is a ton of water. There's a ton of money being spent on making sure parts of Texas do have water that are about to run out. I know my buddy Andy Hopper in Wise County, Decatur, they have a big water problem. And so they're trying to recapture it from other cities and use eminent domain, which means it could be through your property, to get a funnel of water to people that don't have it. In the meantime, millions of people are moving here and we don't have the water. Or electricity.
We've been talking about this for over 20 years, how we're running out of water, and we've been building houses as fast as we can the whole time. And, as that problem continues to commence, eventually all of our wells, somebody's going to outdrill them. And that's what a lot of other places in the state are dealing with. And I mean, we've got big lakes, Bodark Lake, that we built, we're shipping it to the Metroplex. I see that continuing to be a problem, and rural counties are going to lose on that deal.
I also know that there is this sounds bad, it's mining for, hold on, let me think. What's the batteries for the Tesla? What's in there? Lithium mining. And the company that we spoke to, first of all, they can make it, they say that they're giving people money to mine on their property, and it basically has no footprint to do that because they go really deep down in there. There's no vibration, there's no nothing. They get what they need out of there, and then they seal it back up and it looks like they were never there. But they also can put an attachment on their machine that does desalination and creates good water, drinking water, at the same time for almost no cost on top of doing that. And so that is definitely, and that lithium is all through Franklin County, Mount Vernon, and there's some very close to here as well. And so there are other alternate ways to get water in the future, and that's one of them.
There's also the micro, mini, it sounds horrible, but nuclear power.
Yes.
And there's these small, I can't explain the science to it, but they go down below the aquifers and they tap into the brine water, which is the salty water that we can't drink, and they use that to power these little mini nuclear facilities. That cleans the water because they need the brine water, and then by the time it's done, it's clean water, and that could be used potentially to refill aquifers, like the Allegheny.
That's the same process that I was just talking about. Yeah, it's the brine that they go to get, and they put the water back, but instead of putting it back, brine. That's for the lithium. And the nuclear. Yeah.
Because it's actually below the clean water, the aquifer water, so same process. That's crazy. I hadn't heard about it.
Mount Vernon. Anything else?
So you started talking about.
Sorry, I have HDA. Oh, I didn't finish. Oh, no, I told that story.
You told us text.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So does everybody think we have any problems with TxDOT roads?
Oh, gosh. Get in line. If you have a problem with TxDOT, get in line. No.
One particular intersection, and I would prefer that y'all talk about it. Because Shelley hears it from me all the time.
No, it's horrible, that intersection.
Yes. Yes.
So that's the update that Noel gave. That's the 10-year plan for 121.
It's a 10-year plan for 121, at least. In the meantime, people don't drive the speed limit too. It's like 50 in some places, and people are driving 75 still. With all this construction going on, please tell people to slow down. And I know it's a problem, but with change, it's bad. But like when you get up Sherman toward Denison, the lanes feel like they're this big, and people are driving 80 in them. Tell people to slow down, and it's hard for patrol to work that because there's lanes this big. So, y'all, just stay off the highway. Don't take it.
Take the back roads.
Yes, take the back roads.
So the intersection, you're saying it might be 10 years before we get
Not the specific intersection. The whole project. It's a miles long project. It's a 10-year project. I don't know when specifically. We can check with Noel and see specifically, like make him pinpoint a time. But
We have, and we don't like the answer, so any help we can get there. It's a financial issue, I get it, they have limited budget.
you know what, though? My desk mate's on that committee. Who runs their money.
So if we came in numbers?
No, it's just my desk mate and I can meet with them.
I know that's.
My desk mate is Mitch Little. Do y'all know Representative Mitch Little? He's the smartest person I've ever met in real life. I'm not even joking. He's not even real. He's an attorney, but he is phenomenal. So I'll get with him and we'll meet with some TxDOT people and see what we can do for y'all. Yep.
Thank you.
It's driving commercial growth as well as causing traffic issues. Just getting across town, the high schools right over here, and of course with the college on this side of town. So.
Can you call Diana and let's get your city officials together with a map so I can see it? And
Happy to do that.
great. Anything else? Thank you guys so much for your time. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
It's been a pleasure having
Oh,
you.
my.
I hope you'll come again and
Yes,
visit with
ma'am.
us.
Yes,